Good evening everyone, welcome to week 3 of the TGP1 season 30. We're here for Spain and Monaco, and the breaking news is title leader Josh is unable to make tonight, therefore shaking up the drivers going into this race, knowing that they've got a strong chance of pulling it back and possibly taking over the championship lead at the top. But more drama. Since the session's begun, Softy has lost connection to the session. He's trying to get back in, but with the top two potentially out of this race, the championship is blown wide open. So, welcome then to the Spanish Grand Prix qualifying. We've got 7 minutes of the session left. Currently, Bulletproof leads from James O'Connor. Martin's third, Softy only fourth at the moment. And we've got a few new names to mention about too. In 16th, we've got Better Than Sniper. He is in a McLaren this week, replacing Mike. And I think the other new name to mention is Solanex, who is back after a season sabbatical. So great to see him back. He's currently in 9th position. I am joined once again by Jonas, two-time former TG1 champion. Welcome, Jonas. And with the news that Josh isn't here today, who's going to win the races? This is crazy.
Yeah, very surprised to find out about Josh not taking part this evening. And the rain in Spain has truly landed on the plane, as they say, as the mixed conditions have thrown the field a little bit all over the place. We've got Bullet on pole, who was very solid last week with 2 podium finishes. And we got the early championship leader James O'Connor in, well, he was second, he's just been demoted to third as the Sauber of Paul McGuinness takes P2 now. And it's going to be an interesting one. It was last season here in Spain, actually, where the wet qualifying led to me getting a very surprise pole and an even more surprising race win, where I had to hold off Jamie Day as well as Jake throughout the race to season. And we just have Softy coming back online. These yellow flags out as well with Goings out of the session, and we've got Jake in 15th off the track in the wall, it looks like, as he comes back across the track now. Well, he's taking a bit of an excursion across the gravel. Front wing gone, so he'll have to pit. Just gets out the way of the Force India of I think it was a Force India anyway. I think it was Owen. Yep, Owen Quenby in 14th. But yes, miles off of the tangent there. It's shaking the field up at the moment as we have a Scottish 1-2-3 with Bullet, passes from Aiden and Paul. I wonder what the odds for that were before the session began, because that is quite unusual. But yes, I think it could be very surprising for the race indeed, and we could have maybe a new winner perhaps, or a first win in a very long time for some of these drivers. Paul hasn't won a race for a while. Aiden's been down in TGP2. Bullet, I don't even know if he's ever won a TGP1 race. But then you have the old reliables just behind the top 3, with James in 4th, Martin in 5th, Phil 6th, Jack in 7th, and then Softy, who currently is not in the session, down in 8th. So yes, it's rather crazy so far.
Well, Bullet has won 3 races in the past, all from 3 seasons ago on the F1 2016 game. So Bullet looking good, possibly making that 4. And here's a stat for you. 8 of the last 10 Spanish Grand Prix have been won from pole position. So Bulletproof not doing far wrong by getting pole here, if that's how it's going to stay. There's currently 4 minutes left. We've seen Aiden set a 1:28.9. I'm not sure if he's on a lap now or if this is an in-lap. Out at the moment, as you said, Dan the Man currently in 11th. Normally when we spectate him, we see him in the wars. So let's see if Dan the Man was coming to the pit lane. So I doubt he's going to have an incident there. But elsewhere on the track, Jamie Day in 12th. He's back, first time this season he's raced. Unable to make the first 2 weeks. Let's follow him in a lap. Let's see if he can put that Mercedes up near the front as the yellow flags are out for the 3rd time this session. Not sure what this might be for. Bothy Dweller potentially pulling out of the way for other traffic. We've got James O'Connor coming around the final corner now. Is this to complete a lap? I think it's the start one because he's not used much of his ERS. So James O'Connor, let's have a lap around this circuit on the intermediate tyres. Not sure if it's drying out or not. John is trying to take us through it.
Yes, indeed, as we come down to the break end of turn 1. It's a tricky right-hander, very easy to get the run wide, get out of title over turn 2 before the long swoop in turn 3. Normally, you could just about get away with it flat in the dry, but definitely not in the wet conditions, as you can see the Ferrari skirted around the grip as you get to turn 4. Another long right-hander. You have to be careful at the exit. It's very easy just to let the car run wide, catch that curve, catch the grass, and spin your car around and have a bad day at the office. As you come to turn 5, you see the Ferrari not making apex there with the amount of rain that has fallen on the track. The track very slippery. It's definitely intermediate conditions. As you come to turn 6 and 7, and a little bit of lag there, I think, from the row, and we come towards a flat right-hander here. Well, in the dry it's flat, it's clear definite lift in these conditions. We come down one of the two DRS straights of the track before we get to the braking zone at the end of sector 2. It's a very slow, clumsy corner here, and then a quick left right, well, a moderately quick left right, and as we come towards the last sector. And I think this is, I don't like this part of the track. I prefer the old layout. They just go flat for the last 2 corners, come to this clumsy chicane, a left and a right, and then on the power through the right hand of the last corner, and then across the line. No DRS in these conditions as James comes to line, improves up to 3rd position. He gets it, he splits 2 Stalbers, and is on the front of the second row of the grid. A solid lap there. You can see how much the conditions are causing the guys out there to struggle with a lot of sliding about, missed apexes, although that could be down to a little bit of lag that was going on there rather than the actual driving. Meanwhile, Bullet is on a lap, but it looks like he's improving. He's actually not in. Oh no,
he's off the circuit.
He was improving in sector 2, but he's gone right off the circuit.
And that's going to be a rough start to his next lap as well, so not the ideal final corner for Bulletproof. He's going to go again. He might have time for another after this, but not how he wanted to start or finish the lap. Must give a shout out, by the way, to Andy and Kim, who were meant to be your commentary lineup tonight, but unfortunately, due to some connection issues, Andy was unable to join the session. But Andy and Kim, hopefully with you next week, but me and Johners are standing in today, so there's an update on you for that. Johners, who's out on track at the moment? Any fast runners? Martin might be on a lap.
I think it is Martin at the moment. It looks like the top 3 are all on slow laps. Paul as well. I think they're just shaping up for the final laps. So Stan the man is out of the session. Martin seems to be on the lap as he's in the final sector. We've got Jamie Day out of the session. Softy has returned. He's down in 10th, but he is in the session. That the best he's going to be is P10, but he's got a chance of making it up in the race. He's won from the back in the past, as shown numerous times in Rush Hour, as Martin comes around the last corner now. Just runs a little bit over the curb, gets to the line, and takes P4 by fractions over the setup of Paul McGuinness, and will join James in the second round of the grid as it stands, as Paul now starts his final lap. We also have Aidan about to start his. He's at the last corner, but it looks to be shaping up for a lap as well, or he might even be on a lap. But then again, I think he did make that mistake at the last corner of the previous one. I think James is on a lap too, so we've got quite a few guys on their final runs now, and just this almost tricky to pick out which one we're going to go with. Aidan's early on the lap, Martin and James are a little further on. I'd say the one we should watch is probably Phil Bargewell down in 7th. He's just come to the last sector now as Bullet retires from the session. I think that's due to him running out of time and fuel perhaps. But Phil he's been good in the wet in the past. He's probably should have had a couple of wins in the wet where he's thrown it away due to silly mistakes. The infamous incident in Belgium where he cut the last corner on the last lap and got a time penalty. That cost him a certain victory. As he now comes to the last corner, the Williams is looking a good handful to he's got to be honest, as he now comes to the line. A 129.9, 2-0, he's gained 2 hundredths, but stays in P7, and that's immediate down to 8th as Jack Pearson takes P6 in what would be, I think, the first time all season he's out-qualified his teammate. And he now loses P6 because Owen has taken P6, and then we've got Paul. We got Martin across the line, stays in 4th. We've got Paul McGuinness coming on the last corner now in the Sauber. Let's see what he can do as James O'Connor across the line in 3rd. Paul takes back that 4th position off Martin and will be on the second row of the grid. Aidan has retired from the session as well, and it looks like only Sir Lader's left. And that's the end of the session. Bulletproof takes his first pole position on his return to TGP1.
Wow, what a lap from Sean to take pole position. It's his 4th career pole in TGP1. And what a time to do it at Spain in tricky conditions. And you've got to say, a perfect lap there from Sean, half a second clear of his rivals. Of course, no Josh tonight, and Softy having some connection issues of himself. Looks like PSN are suffering some issues with themselves, but hopefully Softy can get back in for the race, because this is a huge chance for him to claw some points back in the championship standings. So then, let's have a rundown of the order. As soon as we get the results, we will go through it, but it is Sean McGurk who is on pole position. Of course, back tonight. Race last week, picked up 2 second place finishers who were looking to go one better this time round and take the 2 wins. Monaco's later on, by the way, so you do not want to miss that race. That's going to be a fun one to follow. But it is Bulletproof on pole. second position went to, who was it, John? I was struggling to see the results at the moment.
It was Aiden in P2, Bartwood in the Sauber, ahead of James O'Connor in the Ferrari in third, and I think it was Paul McGuinness fourth in the Sauber. Then it was Martin Diver fifth, Northern Swan in the Force India. Sixth place for, I believe it was in the end, Owen. I think that's the best qualifying of the season for him. He'd be very happy with that in the race if he could stay there. And then it was, well, I kind of lose track after that one. We're just waiting for Jake to ready up, I believe. According to my screen, he's the only one yet to ready up. He might have to leave the session, you know, which would be a disaster for him. But it looks like either his game has crashed or he's just got a bit AWOL for the moment. I've no idea what the weather conditions are for the race.
Well, we wait for Jake to resolve his issues. Let's go through a few stats from the race. Phil has taken 5 podiums in Spain in the last 6 seasons, so he is going to be one to watch out for. He's had a good qualifying. Ex-champ Ben has the most wins here at 5, but Dan and James, who are both at Ferrari at present, have 4 wins each. Aidan, Smokey and Owen are the most recent winners here in TGP2. All 3 of them have picked up success in the lower tier, so they're looking to carry that over into TGP1. So Spain, it's a fast circuit, 17 laps, 4.72 kilometers, medium. So, bit of a climactic, what's the word I'm looking for here? Bit of an anticlimax. I'll circle it around the circuit. But we are waiting for the race to begin. Charlie Whiting clearly not happy with these conditions. We're waiting for maybe the rain to clear. Waiting for the moment.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. Some of the cars did do 2 or 3 laps out there, so it seems the tyre wear isn't so bad on the intermediates if it does turn out to be a wet race. So it does bring up the possibility of, if it is wet, do they do a no stopper? As obviously, if it rains, the tyre rule for the dry conditions is no longer necessary, and if the drivers are happy enough with the tyres, they can go all the way. The pit stop here is around 23-24 seconds, which is quite a hefty chunk, and you'd have to wonder, could one of the fastest guys really make up nearly half a minute in just 8 or 9 laps if they pit halfway through the race? It's very unlikely, but that could all be redundant if it does turn out to be dry, as we still wait for the race to begin. It's quite funny looking on the screen here. I can just see the helicopter just going round and round in circles. Obviously, it's having a bit of fun before the race, but it's going to be interesting, this race indeed. And of course, we've got Monaco after, which always throws up absolute chaos and madness. The Principality, one of the favourites for me on the calendar personally. It's always brought up some crazy racing and some surprise winners in the past. As we still wait here in the not the most joyful of conditions at the Catalunya circuit. I'm wondering if Jake might have to actually just leave the session. And there he goes. We have the grid now for you. Bulletproof on pole in the Williams, nearly half second clear of Bartwood in second. James breaks the Scottish 1-2-3 with third position for the Ferrari, ahead of Paul McGuinness in fourth. Martin in fifth, leading the all Force India third row. Jack Pitt with Owen in sixth, Jack Pierce in seventh, Jamie Day in eighth, Phil Bardwell ninth, better than Sniper on his debut, a solid result in 10th, head of Softcop, who obviously will be disappointed with his position, but is in for the race. Boffy Dweller is 12th ahead of Goings, Sir Lanix, Dan the Man and Spokey Jays bringing up the rear, with Jake and Demon Ash failing to set at times.
Well, there is your grid then. We are in for an exciting race. I think it is going to be a dry race, we're being told. So the rain has cleared. Charlie Whiting got his wish, and we are going to the race. It's going to be a dry Spanish Grand Prix, and you can see there the sun is out, the clouds have cleared, and hopefully this time, waiting for players, will continue to the race. Ones to watch out have to be better than Sniper, you might see there, the middle half of your field. Yet to race in TGB, this is his debut race, so interesting to see how he gets on tonight. Solanix also, it's his first race since his sabbatical. Of course, recently in TGP2, let's see if he can get on well in TGP1 as the drivers now prepare to select their strategies for the races. Main strategy quickly, John, is going to be super soft to softs.
You would think that, but the wet weather has thrown up the availability to choose any of the tyres for all the top 10 as well as the ones behind, so it'd be interesting to see who picks what. Some people might go for the soft, super soft strategy, but of course tyre wear could play a part. You might see someone brave it on the mediums early on and go for the super soft at the end as the lights are out.
Well, here we go then. Spanish Grand Prix, 5th round of the season. Bulletproof is the man on pole position. And it's lights out. Away we go. Softy has got back in the lobby. I think the Force India's pulled off already. Some problems there for the Force India. I think it is Martin, not the star he wanted, but everyone apart from him safely down to turn 1. Great view here from the cameras. There's a lag in Haas, but we see Bulletproof has kept the lead ahead of the two Saubers. James is kept 4th. Jack into 5th position, Jamie 6th, Phil down to 7th, not the best start for him. Owen in 8th, and Softy already in 10th position, so not the way you want to start this race with Josh not here, but Bulletproof, the perfect start to take already a second clear into the opening corners and the perfect start that he would have wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. Nailed the start, made it clean getaway, managed to hold the Salvers into turn 1. It was a good start for Paul, who managed to get ahead of James. James on the alternate strategy, like I thought might be the case. He's in the soft tyres, so he might be a bit slow early on, but pick it up in a few laps in. We've got Jack in 5th ahead of Jamie Day, who made contact with that Renault turn 1. There was a little bit of contact, lucky to get away without damage. We then have Phil in 7th and then Owen down in 8th. Disastrous start for the Force Indias with Martin. I don't know if he jumped to start, but he just pulled the clean out of the way, so maybe there was. It's got contact behind. There's a Red Bull running wide on the Ferrari. We've got carnage to the back. I think soft.
And Phil spun it. Phil spun out of 7th position. He's kept it out of the wall, so he's not going to have some front wing damage. In fact, he may have got damage. Got to be careful rejoining the circuit. But Phil Bardwell spinning from 6th. A huge mistake for him. It looked like his season was finally getting back on track. As Bullet sets the fastest lap on the opening lap. I don't know why I keep pointing that out. It's not really an achievement. Of course he's going to have the fastest lap. But Phil Bardwell down in 17th. Jake in 18th. A terrible start for the two drivers. Sorry, Jonas, what were you saying?
Yeah, I can tell you, Sir Lennox has just come into the pit lane, so I'm wondering if there was contact between him and Softcop, because Softcop looked very, very slow out of that corner. And there was a massive backlog of cars all just trying to get around that corner. We saw Dan the Man and Goings run out wide. Maybe they've gained a few positions there, but they had nowhere to go, and it looks like the race director isn't looking into that one, so they might have got a bit lucky there. It looks like Softy is undamaged though, so luckily for him, he won't have to make an early stop for repairs, and since he's looking at the back of the Ferrari. Meanwhile, we've got Solanex, Phil, and Smokey J's all in the pit lane. It looked like Smokey J's might have been held up. Both Toro Rosses in the pit early on, which is a disaster for them. All three of those have gone in and put on super soft, medium tyres, sorry, as Aiden is sticking with that 1 second bullet so far. We have Paul staying in 3rd to the top 3, a Scottish 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you've ever had that in TGP1 before. That might just be a first, so that's the way it is up the flag. Meanwhile, we've had Owen going past Goings around the outside, it looked like, which is a brilliant move. That's as they come side by side into the chicane. The Owen makes the move. Going has another look in, but has to yield the position. Meanwhile, Softcop has made his way past Dan the Man and is up back into the top 10 as Bullet sets the fastest lap. And Aiden looks to be out of DRS, which could be critical for the Williams driver.
Goings making a move on Owen for 8th position. He's going to got the inside. He hasn't got DRS just yet, I don't believe. As Paul's out of the race, drama in front. Have you seen what happens there?
He's in the wall. He's in the wall. He must have lost it at turn 2. He's gone into the wall. The VSC is out. That is a disaster for the Scotsman. You could say it's a commentator's curse. As I just mentioned, it could be the first ever Scottish 1, 2, 3, and one of them is promptly in the barrier. I do apologise there, Paul. I seem to have cursed you.
Well, unseen by the cameras, Paul has binned it at the start of the 3rd lap. A huge drama for Sauber. Not what they needed. They were 2nd and 3rd. It was looking so good for your Scottish 1, 2, 3, Johners. But the Scottish flags will not all be out now. James is up to 3rd. The big movers so far have been Ash up 5 places, Bothydweller up 6 places, Goings and Dan also up 5 places. The bigger loss has to be Martin and Paul. But wow, what a start to this race. And the VSC has been deployed. Bot is now 2 seconds off Bullet. James is a further 3-4 seconds back. But Jack Pearson, if he can get the VSC restart right, could be about to make a move on James. He might get DRS. Is DRS normally disabled after the VSC, Jonas, or does it come back straight away?
Normally it does come back straight away as the message comes up, DRS enable. It's worth pointing out that he's actually come down a bit because obviously the virtual safety car, all the cars going slower through the safety points as we get
We've
back
lost
underway.
Owen. Owen's in the gravel. Owen, another casualty. A lot of cars spinning it at that corner. It's proven to be real tricky as we go back aboard of Jack, who's going to look to make a move on James for P3, the final podium position. Teammate to Softy, so he could help his teammate out here. He needs to take points off these drivers. He needs to help the Constructors campaign too, especially with the Haas missing their main driver today. As Jack makes a late lunge up the inside, that's a silly lunge. And will he let James back through? James is not going to be happy with that. Jack Pearson, it looks like he is slowing down. What do you make of that, Johners?
It was a bit of a late move. James looked like he had the corner covered, and Jack just launching up the inside, dive bombing, taking them both off the track. Now, there was debris that came before the cars, so I'm trying to work out which one it is. Obviously, we don't get the onboard cameras. James has been given a 5-second stop go penalty for corner cutting and not giving back the place. So the stewards seem to have deemed James at fault there for Jack hitting him, as James gives the place back, but he gives it back to Jamie Day, not to Jack Pearson. So Jamie Day now up to third in the Mercedes. A good run for him, these 2GP return. As I'm just trying to work out who's got the damage, and you know what, I can't see it. As the battle continues between the Ferrari and the Renault now, 4th or 5th. That could be one that could be very hotly debated after the race. Meanwhile, let's have a look further down. We've got Goings, who's just been passed by Softcup, so Softcup already back up to 7th place on the ultimate strategy as well. So he could be very quick at the end of the race there in the second relay. Dare I mention rumours of a
Jack's going to go again on James. This time he defends the inside line. He's not having that one. He's going to be very angry and aggrieved from the position that Jack tried a lap previous. Is Jack going to try something similar again? James defends the inside this time. Jack will try the outside, but that's not going to be enough room there, and James keeps hold of 4th. He's clearly frustrated at the move Jack tried a previous lap, which was a clumsy move from Jack. Not the smartest decision he's made. But James for now holds on to P4, but he is struggling. Will Jack have another chance here to get that position off him? Not quite. I think maybe James's tyres are going. In fact, it's on the soft tyre lane, but it is looking like James is struggling here for P4 and holding on to the position.
Yeah, I think the VSC has definitely helped those in the super softs. They might just get a lap further than originally they were probably expecting. The tyres, when they do start to drop off here, they do drop off quite quickly, and I'm still trying to work out who got the damage from that impact, because I'm thinking it might be James because of the way he's struggling to keep up to Jamie Day. We've got a car off the background. It looks like it is the Hatter Boffy dweller. He's down to 9th position. I also put it out. I also just noticed just before that, when I was looking through the field, he did have some damage on the front. Smokey J's now out of the race. It looks like he's got off at turn 3. That might be a pretty hefty impact for the Toro Rosso. I wonder if it's a safety car.
And Jamie Day's had a spin as well.
Backed off.
Once again, that corner's proving to tackle a lot of drivers. Jamie Day, the next to spin round. He's down to 7th now. Unfortunately for him, I think he was up to P3, wasn't he? As Jack's now taking 3rd off James, who pits. And he's going to serve.
Pits, I tell you. It must be for the front wing. And yeah, there we go. Front wing being repaired now by the Ferrari. They've got to wait 5 seconds because of the penalty as well, which is a disaster for the Ferrari. But there we go. Front wing on. Tyres are going to be the medium, so James having to do a soft medium. That has ruined his race as he now exits the pits down, all the way down. He's going to be in 13th place, I believe. Well, it might be 12th as Buffy Dweller's near as well with damage. Demon Ash is in also for damage, and Lane come out. Let me start that one again. Lane coming down the pit straight. He will be behind James. James is P11 and on fresh tyres, so it'd be interesting to see what he does on those new tyres. They will probably get to the end of the race because they're the medium tyre. Meanwhile, back at the front, Bulletproof is not getting away from Bartley, that has to be said. The gap is within a second. And just a quick word on where everyone is spinning. That left-right, it's been so innocuous in the last few games. Like, it's barely a corner, really. Gets the limit on, doesn't speed, and Williams will be looking for a good stop now. Be interested to see what tyres he goes on as well. I won't be surprised if it is softs, but we'll see what they do. And indeed, the yellow coloured Pirelli tyre goes on. We've got quite a few cars coming in now. We've got Jack Pearson in. We've got Demon Ash in the wall, out of the race. As numerous cars coming in the pits now. We have Jack, we have Bullet, better than Sniper on his debut, and Jamie Day, as well as they all come down out of the pits lane now. Bullet's come back out in 6th, just behind the Ferrari of Dan the Man, who's on the ultimate strategy. Meanwhile, it'd be crucial to see the gap between Bartooth and Bullet. It's currently 19.5 seconds as Aiden making his way round now. Yes, we can see Demon Ash's car in the background there with the race leader. He looks like he's got off on the right hand, and maybe he's taken a bit too much curve on the exit, and then just as got to the right hand bit, gone off into the wall. Very easy to do. This couple of corners very tricky on this game compared to the previous ones, especially the corner of the race leader. Bartley has just gone round. That left hand bit just takes too much curve. It just
pull it on, Dan. Needs to get clear. He needs to gain time. Aiden is on a quick in-lap. He should be pitting this lap, we think, maybe. Bulletproof has overtaken Dan crucially as Aiden does pit. So this is going to be the fastest pit stop time we've had all season. Bulletproof having made his stop the previous lap. Aiden had closed in the gap. I think it was 3 seconds at one point, but it went down to 7/10 when the Williams driver pitted. But now, Aiden in the pit lane. Is it going to be a quick stop? Bulletproof will not have DRS in his back straight. Where is Aiden? As he only now comes into the pit lane. I think this should be an easy routine take over the lead again as Phil's retired from the race. Another casualty. And in fact, it is Bulletproof who overtakes Aiden quite comfortably in the end. In fact, Dan's going to be between the pair of them, so easy for Bullet.
A huge undercut there from the Williams. It seems the Supersoft tyres are really tripping up after 5 or 6 laps, and that has really helped the Williams pull away. The gap is 3.5 seconds, so I think Aiden just being out that 1 lap too long has really cost him, and he'll have his work cut out to catch up to the lead, as Jack is now out the race as well.
Wow, what's that?
This is a crazy race.
6 retirements from the race already. It's Spain. Monaco's next. What are we going to see there? Wow, it's a crazy race here. We've got Softy now leading from Goings and Martin. The 3 of them yet to pit. Bulletproof, the highest runner of the pit stop. He's now behind Martin. He's going to want to clear him pretty quickly as well. Will he get a chance here? We've seen him overtake most of his cars into this corner. Will he try a late move? He doesn't. He thinks better of it. He's not really racing Martin. And Goings and Softy are not going to come out ahead of him or near him after their stops. So it's going to be between Bullet and Aiden. Aiden now about 4 seconds back from Bullet Johners.
Yeah, it's not been a great call by Sauber to go a little bit longer. Maybe the tyres can come back to him towards the end and do start to catch up, especially if Bullet can't get past Martin here. Martin seems to be very strong coming out of corners, I've noticed in previous years, but straight line speed is not quite the same as Bullet effortlessly gets past DRS and ERS wide, all fired up as he takes P3 and is now just 7 seconds off Softy, who's yet to pit. Softy trying to be on that strategy. He might just come out at the moment down in 7th place and just behind Owen, who's yet to pit. So he's still looking at a net podium now.
It's crucial that Aiden gets past Dan, and what a move from Aiden on the inside of Dan. What a move. Is Dan going to come back at him? He's not. Doesn't need to fight that battle, and Aiden to 5th place. He can now start chasing down Bullet. The gap is still around 4 seconds. Only Martin between the 2 of them now. It's between Aiden and Bullet, the 2 Scots for this race win. Of course, Paul having that early incident, a shame for him. He would have been a great threat as well for the battle at the front as Dan the man. Looked like he went on the gravel there. I think he's struggling a little bit. Tyre grip starting to go. But Aiden now needs to start chasing down Bullet as Goings and Softy continue to lead this race.
Yeah, I can tell the gap is now up to just over 4 seconds between the 2 of them. So Bullet, even though he's been making overtakes, is carving his way through that field and catching up quickly to the 2 in front yet to pit. I can tell you they both stayed up for another lap. Softy crosses the line to start lap 10. Goings currently in 2nd, crosses the line now, and Bullet not quite in DRS, but it's only 1.3 off already, so we will definitely get that done as Martin now comes into the pit in what was 4th position, and he will, I expect to be coming for the super softs, and there we go. They seem to last about 5 or 6 laps. Maybe they like to feel they can last 8, but we'll be interested to see what he does there. And it'd be interesting to see where he comes up compared to the cars that have already stopped, as James goes past in P8, and better than Sniper looks like he'll be coming out just behind Martin. He's going to have a look at the slipstream, but there's no way he's going to get through there. But through these 2 corners with Martin's tyres still cold, he's got every chance of making a move down towards turn 4. As we can see, Martin just will get back up to race speed. Bet the Sniper having a look. Maybe he might go for the inside. He backs out against it, and I think by the time he'll have another look, Martin will have heated those sides up and will be away.
We're going to have to keep an eye on
chase after James.
On Bullet as well, who's now just 2 tenths off Goings. Let's quickly go to that. Holding him up at the moment. This is helping Aiden. The gap is now at just 2.8 seconds. So Bullet losing a lot of time here as he tries to go up the inside. It's very risky. Goings is making it hard. They're going side by side. And Goings isn't going to fight it much more. There was, but Goings now finally relinquishes that position and will pit, which is great news for Aiden, who would have gained a little more time and all that. As we go back to the battle for 9th and 10th, Martin and Boffy Dweller, sorry, better than Sniper. As I said, better than Sniper's debut race here in the McLaren, filling in for Manu, who can unfortunately not make it tonight. But wow, battle's going all over the place.
Yeah, indeed, Softy has pitted for the super soft tyres. Owen has got a speeding penalty as he comes in now. That's not as Softy comes out. Let's just see where he is compared to Jamie Day. Jamie Day comes out the pit street now, and you know what? Softy has got himself up to 3rd.
Wow.
So staying out of the alternate strategy has played right into his hands. He is a long way off the top two, but that is a brilliant job of damage limitation so far. And who knows, the way this race has gone out, we might get a surprise safety car at some point if anyone else loses it. We've seen enough cars off already up that corner in sector 3, as Softy is just 3 seconds clear of Jamie Day, and he must have been 4 or 5 behind before the stop, so staying out has worked perfectly for him as the others have scrapped. We've got James in 5th, Martin in 6th, and then we've got Goings in 7th, Betlin Sniper 8th, 9th for Boffin Dweller, 10th for Sir Lane, 11th for Owen and Danamar bringing up the rear in 12th, having just pitted. But meanwhile, Aiden is now just 2 seconds off the lead, having been 4 at the pit stop. That battle between Goodett and Goings has definitely helped with the younger Scotsman in the Sauber catch
Yellow
up.
flags, Boffin Dweller is out of the race. Another retirement. Let's see if Dan picks that up. Dan almost goes with him. Dan almost goes into the wall with him. As in front we see some battles going on. Owen and Solanix. Solanix, as I said, back. Owen with a 5-second penalty from before for speeding in the pit lane. So this position, he can try and fight it. It's for a bit of fun, but he's going to lose 5 seconds anyway. But he will try and hold the position. Lots of battles going on now as Goings also trying to attack Martin, who's starting to attack James. Which battle do we follow? Take your pick, John.
Follow the fight for 5th here, because that Force India is really catching up. He's got to the inside. He's going to have a look. And he gets the position done nicely. The Ferrari just staying out of the way a little bit there. The Force India on newer, fresher, softer tyres. James will be struggling to hold off the Red Bull as well. Goings will probably catch him and make the move. James obviously on the oldest set of tyres, well, the second oldest set of tyres, and also on the medium tyres, which due to the damage he picked up in the fight with Jack Pearson early on in the race. The move Jack did down to turn 1 has definitely affected James's race. James probably could have been on for a podium, but instead he'd lucky to hold on to 6th position as we come to the DRS zone now.
Nope, not the camera we want to see there. We don't want to see behind the car. James looking to defend the position, still sticking with Martin as he goes off wide. And is this the chance again? That camera, actually worked out well, quite well. James, as he taps the back of the Red Bull, getting very frustrated in this race. It's not gone anything well for him. Jack trying a silly move earlier on, sort of ruining his race in a way, giving him a 5-second penalty, which he probably didn't deserve. As Softy now, it's just the fastest lap. He's taking 2 seconds out of the lead as he's flying. But surely he's not going to pull back 9 seconds in 4 lap, John, is he? Surely not.
11 seconds in 5 laps. I think that might be a bit of a challenge, but we saw back in Bahrain James doing a similar thing on the fast tyres from far back.
James on Goings.
James has a look at the inside of Goings. That's a brave move. He runs a bit deep. Goings is going to get him on the cutback and retake that P6. But that was a brave move there.
Trying what Jack tried to him.
For every position he can, but I think at this point now those two in front of the Ferrari will pull away due to their superior tyres. You have Betlin Sniper doing a solid job in his debut in 8th position. It's a good drive so far by him, as he's stayed out of trouble, he's kept it clean, and he's going to be picking up some solid points on his first TGP race.
Indeed, reminder of the point system. Sorry, John, it's a reminder of the point system. Top 12 get points here. First down to 8th places are all the same, so 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6. But then the positions from 8th down to 12th go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which awards drivers with a bit more to fight for, as we're seeing now. With battles further down the field, these drivers will be able to fight for points. As back to Johners, Goings and Martin. Sorry, I'm calling James Johners. I hope you're not offended there, Johners. He is a 6-time champion.
Yeah, I don't think I could take offence to that.
Well, Johners looking... I've done it again. James looking to close on Goings. Goings looking to close on Martin. Soft's taking another 2 seconds out of Bartu. It's a shame that the race is coming to an end. He could put a little more pressure on, but unfortunately I think that's a bit too late for Softy. He'll be happy with P3 though, after his qualifying performance. Aiden, still 2 seconds back from Bullet.
4 laps to go. It's not impossible, and it's worth pointing out that Aiden is closing in a little bit. Bullet, he's got the gap under 2 seconds. As Dan the man just takes P9 off of Owen down
Dan the man. Dan the man. We want to see more of that. We want to see more overtakes like that. We missed it, but we want to see more of it. James is back with the front 2 ahead of him.
Now, I did remember saying earlier in the race that the Supersoft tyres seem to drop off after 5 or 6 laps, and it looks like there's the 2 in front. Maybe they pushed too early. It is possible in this game to overheat the tyres by pushing too hard early in the stint and having them just completely overheat and bring no grip. As we see that, Goings is miles off the circuit as yellow flags are out. And I'm afraid it's bad news if you're a fan of Dan the Man. He is in the
no.
wall. He's lost his
Oh
front
no!
wing.
We don't want to see
He's
more of
now
that, Dan the
doing
Man.
donuts.
Wow.
He gets the car back on pointing the right way, and he will have to limp back to the pits without his front wing. Meanwhile, the gap between the two leaders of 1.6 now. Aiden is starting to close in a bit. Softy, I can tell you, has just dropped a little bit of pace there. I think, you know, just pushed too hard early is costing him, as James takes P6 of going halfway down the straight. So it seems to be coming back to the Ferrari late on in the race there, which is quite interesting considering he's on tyres that have done double the laps of the cars in front. But these mediums are durable, while the super softs just seem to be overheating very quickly.
And the McLaren as well are better than Sniper up the inside of Goings. What a move! He takes the position off him as well. Those super soft tyres are going, and Goings is left to find himself down in P8. The McLaren locks the brakes but stays ahead. And this is fantastic racing. James and the race coming back to him. Can he now clear Martin ahead in 5th position? Wow. Goings really starting to struggle on those super soft tyres.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's almost like a qualifying tyre here this weekend. The super soft just completely gone already. I mean, on this lap alone, Goings is 2.5 seconds down on what he did on his best lap, which is massive degradation for the tyres. And you can see Martin there, he can't even get the car to the apex. He's genuinely struggling. Just going through sector time, I'd say James is at least a second and a half quicker on this lap alone. We've got to come out across the line in a second. Here comes Martin into the last corner. James DRS. He's going to take that P5 back. Martin does a 1:22.2. James does a 1:20.9, so he's 1.3 seconds quicker, and he gets the move done. That's P5 for the Ferrari now. James O'Connor. It looked like the top 5 had got away from him after the incident early on, and the super soft tyres coming into their own. But it looks like after a few laps, it just completely drop off and comes back to the cars on the harder tyres. So Lane now comes in the pits after 14 laps on the medium. So I think his tyres might have hit a cliff, which luckily for James won't be happening to him. His tyres are 4 laps newer than what Sir Lane's were, and Sir Lane I think did have a spin as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We're better than Sniper though, who's P7 on the soft tyres, catching Martin very quickly here.
With 1 lap to go, almost a lap to go, I think just over a couple of corners left for Bullet before he starts that. He is now just 1.3 clear of Aiden, so he's starting to lift off, starting to preserve his tyres as he does now start the final lap. We have to watch that, but for now, let's stick with this 6th and 7th place battle. It's the closest battle on track. Martin really struggling. 6 laps on those super softs, 9 laps on the softs for Better Than Sniper. We'll find out his real name for you next week, I promise. Better Than Sniper is quite a mouthful. But can he get P6, which would be a fantastic result on his debut in his first race in TGP1 in the McLaren, replacing Mainoon this week. Let's see, with DRS now, hopefully a bit of Bird's left too. Surely Martin can't defend this position, Johners.
No, I can't see how he's going to do it. He's going to try it. He's going to push it on the grass.
Oh.
That is very, 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 very risky stuff there. And it's actually broken the front wing of that McLaren.
Martin.
Martin was very naughty there. I'm going to have to say that is his fault. Going to take the grab to avoid the McLaren recovering, but you can see the gap was there. The McLaren took it, and the Force India just shut the door. Martin has forced that McLaren onto the grass and pushed it into a spin. I think that one might be going. Has every right to be aggrieved there by what we've just seen. That's cost him 6th place, I have to say. Meanwhile, coming to the last few corners now, right at the last corner, he's held off the threat of Aiden. He comes to the finish line and takes victory at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's the first win in 3 seasons for Bulletproof. Aiden takes home 2nd place. Meanwhile, Soft Cop is going to cross the line, do a brilliant job recovering to 3rd. And then we've got the lap car of Dan there just crossed the line in 11th. Jamie Day's going to bring home 4th position, just ahead of James O'Connor in 5th. Then we have Martin, who might just be in a bit of trouble. You know what? Hang on. Jamie Day just let James go. James has taken 4th. Jamie's down to 5th. Martin now comes home in 6th. And we've got a fight for 7th going on between Goings to Better Than Sniper to the line. I think Goings is just going to hold on to it. And you know what? It's very close, but there we go. Goings takes 7th ahead of Better Than Sniper. Owen home in 9th, and it's going to be 10th place. And the last finisher for Sir Lane. That is fascinating stuff I just seen there between the Ferrari and Mercedes. Did Jamie run out of fuel, or did he just decide to
I'm not quite sure, to be honest, but it all happened on that final lap. Bulletproof has taken then his 4th win in TGP1, the first of his season. A fantastic result for him. Aiden and Softy completing the podium. Softy coming back from, what was it, 10th on the grid? Gaining 7 places to get back up there. But wow, what a race full of battles. Martin might be looking at a steward's inquiry from Better Than Sniper after that late incident, pushing the McLaren driver completely off the circuit. It looked a bit out of order. James might also be reporting Jack for an incident they had earlier on in the race, which caused James to get the 5-second penalty. But with James letting him through, which is what we believe happened, then that would mean James has lost nothing from the 5-second penalty and takes the P4 position. Wow, what a race, John.
Yeah, that was very intriguing stuff the last lap. I've got to say, it's a brilliant performance by Bulletproof, though. He just maintained the gap to Aiden throughout the race, kept it under control, was never really under threat, as we now get the finishing order. Bulletproof wins from pole, just 8 tenths clear of Aiden in the end in 2nd place. Softy with a brilliant recovery from 11th to 3rd, ahead of James in 4th, who seemed to be let through on the last corner by Jamie Day, who finishes 5th. We've got Martin in 6th, but could be under investigation ahead of Goings. Then Better Sniper, a solid 8th position his debut, but he probably would have expected more had Martin not forced him off on that last lap. We have Owen finishing in 9th, Lane down in 10th, and Dan the Man finishing the field in 11th. We have Boffy Dweller, Jack Pearson, Phil Bartwell, D-Mash, Smokey Jays and Paul McGuinness all failing to finish. What a hectic race.
Wow, what a race. And Josh, of course, not being there. Bullet's now taken 25 points out of his championship lead. Softy taking a crucial 15 points, putting him now on 51. Wow. Well, Jamie then letting James through. Sorry, well, that's what I was saying. What am I talking about? Jamie letting James through into P4. Not sure what that's about, but a very sportsman move from Jamie, if that was to give back the place that James probably did deserve, having received a dodgy 5-second penalty for passing, I believe, Jamie, was it? Earlier in the race.
It was, I think it was with Jack, the incident with Jack that caused it. At the time, though, James did let Jamie go straight away. I think James had to give a position back, or he'd already got the penalty for it, but decided to give a position back anyway, and that was to Jamie instead of Jack. So maybe that was the reason Jamie returned the favour. Maybe he thought it was unfair that James had to give the place back, having possibly seen the incident between James and Jack before early on in the race. I can tell you now, having a look at the points, if my math is correct, Sean McGurk, Bulletproof, is now 2nd in the championship and 17 points off VSR Josh in the lead of the championship, 78 points against Bulletproof's 61. James is on, I believe, 58. We've got Aiden on 60, who is now 3rd. James drops 2 places in the championship after that race, which, considering his result, you'd be quite surprised, but it's that close between James, Aiden and Bullet, and Softcop with a 3rd place finish is now on 51 in 5th place. So the top 5 just breaking away from the rest of the field a little bit there after that race.
Well, we head now to Monaco, Monte Carlo. Wow, if you thought Spain was hectic, wait for this one. Once again, we're going to have an 18-minute qualifying session followed by a 20-lap race. It is the Monaco Grand Prix, and let's give you a few stats from our friends at Saya Sports. Starting with qualifying then. Of the 7 Monaco Grand Prix in the PS4 era, 2 have been won from pole, so 5 of them have not been won from the starting position. Softy and Chris Thurgood, the only 2 drivers to win here from pole. Softy then, the only driver also with multiple poles here in the PS4 era, and Softy also the only driver on the grid to have taken pole here on PS4 from the current drivers. Chris Thurgood, of course, now I believe he has a baby now. Johners, shout out to the baby.
Well, I don't think it's quite arrived yet,
Oof.
but it's definitely on the way, so congratulations to him and his other half.
Well, we've had 19 different winners here from the 29 season, and is that rain on my screen I see? Are we seeing rain again in qualifying?
That is indeed rain on the camera.
Wow.
Is it just going away or has it just arrived? We'll find out. But I can tell you, so far, looking on my timing screen, everyone is on the intermediate tyre. So it looks like the crossover to the wets is already been. As we now await the first cars to enter the track for the qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix. And if you thought Monaco is hectic enough as it is, the wet weather just cranks that madness scale up a little bit as the engines rise. You've got team members coming out of the pits, cars coming up the pit lane. Here we go then. Qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix is underway.
Well, here we go. This qualifying wasn't exciting enough. Now we've got rain thrown into the equation. Not sure what the weather's going to do for the majority of the session. It could dry up. The clouds do look a little blue at places. But we see now the first cars out on track, choosing to go for intermediate tyres. And I'm expecting a few DNFs in this qualifying session because Monaco, of course, a circuit that catches out everyone, and in the rain as well. Surely we're going to see a couple. And Bulletproof already spinning out of pit exit. Bulletproof leaving the pit lane, and already he's got to come back in for a front wing change, I think, but not the way he wanted to start his qualifying session. The most recent race winner, Bulletproof. And did you say Bulletproof's now second in the championship according to your stats there, Jonas?
Yeah. According to my maths, but it's second on 61 points ahead, a point ahead of Aiden, and just 3 points ahead of James in fourth. I don't think that Williams has picked up damage there. I'm just trying to look from my screen as he hits another wall on the inside at Mirabeau, which is he's really taken a lot of risks for an outlap, and he's now actually brushed the wall at the exit, the Lowe's hairpin. Well, I still call it Lowe's hairpin. I think it's got a different name now, but I've always known it as Lowe's hairpin, and that's what I'll be calling it. There is already debris at the exit 48 as well, so someone else has been in the wall. So you see cars going slowly. The two Renaults almost going into the back of each other there, Softy ahead of Jack Pearson. First car we'll see on the lap, I believe, will be Aiden, Art Dude, P11 on time screen so far, but obviously that's going to change as the laps get underway. And here we are then on board with Aiden. I think we'll have a look at the lap just quickly as we come down the Sander block. The classic right-hander, very easy, hit the warning exit. Aiden just brushes it a little bit as the car snapped out on him. We come up the hill now towards Casino. No, I think this. Oh heck, I think it's Massenet then Casino, of course. There we go through Casino now, coming down the hill towards Mirabeau. Very easy to hit that inside wall and just get it all wrong. Come to the Lowe's hairpin now. Slowest corner on the F1 calendar. You don't even get to 30 mile an hour here, and you see just how hard it is to get that car around the corner. As you come towards 48 now, the right-hander Senna famously in the wall there in the race with a massive lead back in the 80s as we now enter the tunnel. And you just hear that in 64, and he's almost skidded into the wall in the tunnel, which is just mad. Come to the Rubel chicane. Very easy to hit that orange curtain wall and barrier on the inside and spin the car around as well. I've done it enough times myself, and then it's to back. The walls are just so close here, it's so easy just to brush them or give them a hefty hit. It's come to the swimming pool section now. And this right and left, it's been opened up a little bit compared to previous years as we now come towards Raskas, famous corner, Schumacher infamously blocking the track in 2006 there. And we come through Anthony Nodes around the last corner. No DRS as it is wet as we come across the pitch straight, and that is a lap of Monaco as Aiden sets the first lap of a 1:22.2, but it's immediately beaten by Softy, who was 1.6 quicker in the Renault. That is a very, very quick lap for a first run.
Well, Owen, got to give a mention to him. He normally does very well in the wet, and Monaco is circuit he has done well at in the past too. Finished second here, I think, last season or the season before in rainy conditions. Not setting a lap just yet. He's coming back into the pit lane, so maybe he's picked up some damage on his car somewhere there. But Softy, currently quickest, and do not adjust your sets. That is Dan the Man in second position. He's a full second back, but Dan the Man, take a picture, tell the grandkids that you were here on the day that Dan the Man qualified second position with 13 minutes to go in Monaco. Wow, what a lap. Aiden. Oh, Aiden almost binning it there. Oh, and then he seemed to rewind time and bin it again. Aiden in third. Sorry, what were you saying, Jonas? All the cars struggling out there.
I'm just going to say it's very. I think it might be on the crossover slicks. You know, just the way these enters are just slightly like that. It's like it seems to be out the crossover. To be honest, it might just be. Is it worth a gamble if someone coming in for slicks, perhaps?
Maybe that's why Owen appears. Maybe it wasn't damaged. Maybe it was for new dry tyres. Let's see what Goings does. Is he going to appear?
I did spot Owen with a bit of front wing damage as he came into the pit lane, I can tell you, and Dan the Man, who was currently third, also picked up some damage as Aiden did improve and go second on that lap, despite almost throwing it into the harbour halfway through there. So yeah, only 8 cars with laps so far, as we've got yellows in sector 3, which I think is just Boffy Dweller getting out of the way of some of the cars on laps, as the green flags are now back out. It's very, very easy to get it wrong here. I've already seen 3 or 4 cars have hit the wall as yellows are out again. I think Paul just getting out of the way of Team Nash. As Boffy Dweller almost crashes into the pit wall by the looks of it on the camera.
Well,
but yeah, I can tell you, Owen has come out on Inters.
I put the tyre graphic up for you now, so those that are watching can see that all drivers are currently out on the intermediate tyres. So if it is changing over to dry, we're still seeing spots of rain, but if it's going to change, we will see it on our time screen. And there you go, Jamie Day has left the pits on, I believe, the ultra soft tyres. We think he's leaving the pit lane now, and he's the first of the runners to go out on those tyres. And in fact, no, he's gone back to intermediates as Jack Pearson cuts the chicane. It's so slippery out there, and it looks like it is out of that crossover. Maybe we're not going to see improved lap times, because now it's actually worse for it being a little drier, because it's now just too greasy, and the drivers out there are really struggling as Softy now enters the pit lane.
Yeah, meanwhile, I just say Phil Bardwell up into P4 in the Williams. He's just set up that time just now. I'm just watching on board with him, and you can just see the car is screwing about wildly, but he is going quick on this lap, like 2 tenths so far. If he holds that to the line, he won't even gain a position, but he will improve his time, of course. Meanwhile, we've got Goings, James, Martin, Paul all on track. The Ferrari and Sauber of James and Paul almost nose to tail in the hairpin there. Such is the trickiness of that corner. And Jamie Day is out on the Inters. We've got Bullet coming into the pit. Owen begins his lap. The somewhat of a specialist here at Monaco in the rain. As he now begins his lap, Haas of Boffy Dweller gets out of the way. We've got yellows in sector 1. Again,
Probably for Dan the Man.
Getting out of the way of each other.
Well, Dan the Man currently in P3. He is actually the all-time. He is the Monaco king in a way. He's had 6 race wins here, more than anyone else. I think James is next on 3. 19 different winners here, so a lot of drivers have 1 win each. But Dan the Man with 6 victories here, and that was in over 3 games, I think, as well. F1 2010, F1 2011, and F1 2013. So quite an achievement for him. But Dan the Man, fast forward a few years, and he's got a train behind him at Monaco. This isn't the race as well. This is qualifying. The driver's starting to find some track time, and Dan the Man slows down to let the cars behind catch up with him again. Is he letting them through the tunnel? He is. Goings goes through as the drivers now still all out on the intermediate tyres with 10 minutes to go. Softy still leads from Aiden, but Aiden and Dan now on out laps as they prepare to go again.
Apologies, cutting out. I'm just watching Owen as he's coming out the chicane, and he's in the wall. I tell you what, the Inters are not working in these conditions. I'm just watching him, and he is just sideways all the way through that sector. I think he might be coming in again. No, he doesn't stay out to complete the lap, but I can tell you, the car is squealing about wildly throughout from the Newport chicane all the way down towards Raskas. The Inters are not sticking to the track at all well there. And again, Sander Rock. You see that Force India struggling.
Wow, you don't get these sound effects.
Is down at 12.
Well, it might be better for the drivers to actually go into the pits, wait for the sort of weather to make his mind up, and then go out again. There's no point staying out now and doing laps, because you might DNF it, as Smokey Jays has just done. We're nearly doing the same. It might be better to go in the pits and just wait for the rain to calm down. As Jamie Day this time, is he going on the ultra soft tyres? He's thinking about it. We see the tyres there that the drivers are selecting. A Selene has also temporarily picked the ultra soft, but he goes back to the intermediates, and that's probably then testing in the garage to see if the tyres are dry enough. But who out there is on a lap? Boffy Dweller, yet to set a lap time. Sorry, he has set a lap time. Ignore me. Boffy Dweller. Now, currently P10, looking. He did call for the rain in qualifying, and he got it. As we see yellow flags again in sector 2 and 3, probably more cars letting through as Softy goes quicker, a 120.6 to increase his lead over the front. A second and a half clear of Bob. This is Ed Senesup. Softy with a superb lap there.
I was just watching him through the last few corners, and that Renault is on rails. Everyone else seems to be sliding about wildly. That Renault is perfectly hooked up. It's tidy, it's clean. It doesn't look like it's that quick, but on this condition, it doesn't need to be quick. You just need to keep that car moving right, and Softy has done that brilliantly. As you can see, Dan the Man up, Raskas coming into the pit lane now as he ends his run. We've got Paul and James on laps, I think. Paul has improved to P4. But last time I saw these two on track, they were at the lowest hairpin, and James was ahead on qualifying position. But that's now changed, as we can see Phil has come out on track on the hyper-soft tyres, and so is Jamie there on the Ultras. So people are gambling on the track drying up, or it being dry enough. So it'd be fascinating to see what they can do. It's worth pointing out that DRS has not been enabled, so that would normally suggest that the Inters are the right tyre. As we can see, Jamie Day almost power sliding into a crash there out of the new chicane before he gets out of the way of Aiden. I might just be on a lap.
Well, Softy, as we saw, just improved his lap time, so that was suggesting to me that it's still the right tyre to be on. As you said, no DRS yet, which normally is the indicator that it's time to make the switch. But if Phil doesn't find like he's improving time, maybe it's worth going out there and taking the risk.
Yeah, definitely. If you feel like you're struggling, I mean, Jamie Day, for example, is down in 13th and over 3 seconds off, so there's every reason for him to have a go, see what he can do if he isn't finding anything on the inters. Phil, though, he's a second ahead of Jamie, but it's 7 positions, he's in 6th. Maybe it is a brave gamble by him to try it, but we'll see what happens when they start their laps. Meanwhile, Jamie Day is on a lap now, I can tell you. He's actually in the end of Sector 1. He comes towards the first sector split, and he is currently on the 22.2 for Sector 1. I was waiting for a split compared to his previous best, but it didn't pop up as he comes round the Lowe's hairpin now, and it's so slow around there. It's really, really slow. You just wait for an age to pick up the throttle. It's Jack Pearson. He's gone second. I think
Bullet now goes quicker.
Session now. He's got it.
We followed Bullet there at the end of the lap as the McLaren's off in the ahead of him, but Bulletproof goes 4/10 quicker than Softy, so it's still the right times to be on the intermediates. What a lap from Bullet. He had the pressure there, yet to set a lap time, but he's now done one, well, 1:20.2, and now Softy's got to respond to that one. Jinky Canjon is in these changeable conditions.
I'm not too sure at the moment. I think it was just all over the place. And I can tell you, Jamie Day is not improving on the Ultra Softs at all. I think he's backed it off. He's struggling. He's spinning round. He's in the wall. He's lucky not to enter session there. It's definitely still enters. Just that on its own was enough. I think Jack had done a lap and instantly called it, or he's had an incident. It's worth pointing out, but it set his lap. Betton's Sniper was in the wall at Sandervot, or coming out of the wall, and Jack had just retired, so I'm just hoping there was no contact between the two there. I can't tell you where Jack retired, unlike the previous game, as Betton's Sniper is in the water tunnel. He's in the water tunnel, he's understeered into it, he had damage to his front wing, and he's now another victim of Monaco, as he right at the exit of the tunnel, the front left suspension is not connected to the car like it should be, and he is out as Boffy Dollar improves to 10th. He's on his 3rd lap on those tyres, so maybe it just takes a lap or 2 for the tyres to heat up, possibly to get to the right level of the grip. As we can see Martin going around on the lap now as he actually just blows into the pit.
Dan the man's binned it. Sorry, once again the jinx of spectating Dan as he hits the front wing, and he's going to have to come back in to get a new set of tyres and a new front wing. Sorry, what were you saying about Owen there, Jonas?
I was just saying, Owen, we say he's a Monaco specialist, and he has actually truly delivered a lap that has put him towards higher up compared to his normal qualifying. He's currently 6th. I say higher than his normal qualifying. I think he was actually 6th in the grid in Spain as well, so it's been a good week for him. But Monaco, he always does well. He has a strong tendency to keep it out of trouble when left to his own devices. He's brought up some surprise finishes in the past. His best ever finish in TGP1 was a 2nd place in Monaco back on F1 2014, where, a 2nd up Monza on F1 2014, where he very nearly took the win in the last lap, because it was me that was ahead of him that was actually struggling on the inters at the end as he was closing rapidly. So definitely one to count on getting a strong result when conditions are like this, as most of the cars are in the pits, and I can tell you Softy, I believe, has now begun a lap, so he is going to try and challenge Bullet whole time. He's going through Sector 1, he's got Ivan in front actually, and Bullet currently on a 21.8 in Sector 1, so he's only 4 times quicker than what Jamie Day was doing on the Ultra Softs, as it all, but Softy almost locks it up into the outside wall there at the hairpin. That would have been very embarrassing to have committed there, but as you can see, Bullet and Softy are nearly just about 2 seconds clear of the rest of the field. I can tell you, it looks like Softy is taking it easier. Maybe he's building up for another run. Maybe he's taking a lap to get the tyres together. Maybe he knows something the others don't. Meanwhile, Aiden's on a lap, I believe, in P4. Or he's just building up for one actually, looking by his ERS. He comes across the line to begin that lap.
Well, Bullet and Softy, as you can see, miles ahead of the rest, 2 seconds clear. So it's they're in a league of their own at the moment, but Bulletproof currently leaving the pit lane on the intermediate tyre, so they all think it's not dry enough for the dries. Jamie and Phil both came out and tried it, but have both gone back in for the intermediates for their final runs. Let's see if Softy can improve as he crosses the line now. It's been a scrub for that, but I don't think he will. I don't think he'll challenge that time of Bullet, and he doesn't. He's going to go again then. I think in actual fact he was preparing to do another lap. So Jonas, do you want to commentate on Softy's lap here?
Yeah, I believe I shall. He's going up the hill now towards the Masonate and Casino corners. You see, he's just taken it, he's sort of in the middle of the corner there, just opening the corner up, not going too wide and tightening the next corner up. So He's got a decent line through that as he sets a 21.0, a quarter of a second up in sector 1, so he's definitely improved so far as he comes down towards the lowest hairpin. He takes a little bit of the inside of the curve, gets the car around a little easier. Damage drops it on the power as he comes out of there, as he gets around Portier now. You can see him just avoiding the curbs, just trying to straighten the car up the exit, keep it up. Looks like he's spinning it sideways. I think that's just a little bit of lag kicking in. He's flat through the tunnel. He comes down hard on the brakes now. Brakes quite early for the chicane as he locks it up but gets around, and he now comes towards the back. Easily get this wrong, run wide of the exit, hit the wall, just like that a little bit. He's caught it. He's still a quarter of a second up. He's gained 3 thousandths in the middle sector, so it comes down to this final sector. He's got through the swimming pool quite well there. Comes towards Raskas now. He's nice and tidy through there. He's not trying to ask too much of the car. Gets on the power now, all the way down to the line. It's going to be a 1:19.8. That was a spectacular final sector. He's found half a second. He's called it a day there. That is a fantastic lap by Softcop, and that might just be, I believe, his first pole of the season, or his second. But a massive lap there by the Renault driver, the two-time TGP1 champion, reigning TGP Cars champion, setting a lap that everyone should take notice of as he goes. 3/10 clear of Bullet if he's on a lap now. It's worth it now. Phil and James have definitely both improved as Phil is up to 3rd and James to 4th. Bullet is a little hesitant, I'd have to say, through the swimming pool compared to Softy, as he's got now Paul in the way. Will he get out of the way? Just about. It's got to put Bullet off though. He's run wide. Bullet has now backed off right in front of Paul. That's a bit cheeky, but it's going to go for one more run. Meanwhile, Phil, who is... Oh, we've lost Jack. We've lost Jack 30 seconds before the race, which is a disaster. Phil seems to have backed off the session. James looks to be prepping for one more lap. Set yellow flags everywhere at the moment. Just cars going slowly, waiting for their final round. We've got Dan on a lap in 7th. Jamie coming into pit in 8th. Owen on a lap now in 9th. We'll have a look at him through the Rascas last few corners. It looks like it might be on for an improvement. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe
the jinx continues. I've got to start spectating Dan. I've really got to start spectating Dan. Dan the man.
And Owen to P3. That was an improvement of 1.5 seconds. What a lap.
Well, I said Owen's one to watch out for here.
P3.
Delivering again.
Take a P5, I can tell you. James on the front of the back in 6th. Martin on the lap in 8th. Jamie Day, the first guy across the line. I think he actually pitted. We've got Paul down our 11th on the lap. Waffy trying to come around the last corner now. Let's see what he can do. He comes towards the line. Does it look like he's got to threaten the front runners? But he does get up to 7th position ahead of Jack Pearson. That is a good lap for him. Let's just see who else is towards the end of the lap here. I think it's going to be Bullet first, you know. And here we are.
Oh, he's binned it. He's done a Schumacher. Is that the slow cars down behind him? Owen has gone 3rd. Phil's pitted then. He's going to start 4th unless cars behind improve. And Aiden, in fact, there, it is Schumacher-esque. He had to slow down to avoid Bullet's stop car. He is out. He's going to stay 2nd. He had to cut the corner of the previous corner, so I think that would have been a bit nasty if he had taken pole position. Aiden seems to have lift over the line there. He's going to stay 5th. Paul's gone 6th. James O'Connor, can he improve on 7th? Can he split the Sabres ahead of him, or maybe get in with Phil and Owen? He does. He goes 6th. So who's left on the lap? I think that's it. It's just Soleil Lanks, Johners. And he pits.
We got Owen's just scored it as well, and so they need a pit. That is the end of the section for you. I was just going to say, Paul was all the way down at 11th or 12th and jumped up to 7th despite being the first car on the scene of the crime, like Bulletproof there, being in the wall. I can tell you, Bullet was improving on the lap, but I think he made a mistake coming into the Rascas and just thought, you know what, screw this, and just went straight on into the wall. I can tell you that James is again splitting the salvers, so Paul did improve and James split them. Owen with a brilliant lap to 3rd. We've been saying how he's sort of a Monaco specialist a bit here. As we see, I can see on my screen Jack is struggling to sign back in, so I think that might be a PSN error for him, which is a shame because he was on for a good result until he probably crashed. But that's Monaco for you, and that's just the qualifying, so perhaps if this is going to be fun to commentate on.
Well, fingers crossed. That is actually Softy's 2nd pole of the season. Picked up pole ahead of Josh in Bahrain, and he's done it again. 3/10 clear of his closest rival, Bullet. These two have history. I think a few seasons back on F1 2016. Bullet was a lap down racing Softy. Softy was aggrieved, but Bullet did have the pace and was rightly trying to get the position back again. But Softy not happy that day, and this time they'll be on the same track, fighting for the same position. Owen, third. What a lap, looking for his first podium of the season. Phil in fourth. Aiden, fifth. He'll be happy with that. A track he wasn't expecting to do too well on. James in sixth, and Paul in seventh, whilst Boffy Dweller is eighth. And in that qualifying session, we saw a few victims, and Smoky J's 31 to set a lap time. So, Johners, if I had to give you £5 to go to the bookies at Bet Noon, who would your money go on now? Softy, Bullet, or someone else?
You see, part of me wants to say Softy, definitely, but this is just when he's been at the front and it is dry. It's a dry race, so maybe that might have just convinced me to put a 5 on Softy. Softy tends to be very, very strong here. He has said on numerous occasions in the past that he would have won his first time in Monaco had his throttle not failed, i.e. his R2 on his controller. In the end, on that day, he finished down in second position, even with the broken controller. But now he's on a wheel, and I think he'd be very happy with his position. Sadly, Jack Pearson has rejoined just a bit too late. I don't think he'll be able to race, which is a shame for him. His disconnection came at the worst possible time in the last half minute of qualifying, as we now prepare for the race. And again, drivers can choose their tyres throughout the field. As lights are up now, and we're ready to get underway in Monaco.
Well, the Monaco Grand Prix, can Softy make it 3 wins at the Principality? It's lights out, away we go. Can Bullet make a move on Softy going into turn 1? Let's see, it looks like a very good start. In fact, I think he has. He's already ahead, and in the background there's a Force India.
Oh!
Owen has smashed into Bullet, and Bullet's down to 4th. What happened there with the Force India? I didn't catch that, but a huge drama at the start.
I think Bullet just ran wide going into the first corner, and it looks like Owen's just followed him and absolutely smashed the ball at the exit of Sanderlot. That is a disaster for the Force India. He had done so well in qualifying. It's such a strong track for him as well, and it's all gone horribly wrong within the first 100 or so metres, and he's out. His yellow flag's out as well as Martin's out, so Force India having a disaster, and he's actually crashed to the inside of the hairpin.
Wow, both Force Indias out of the race on the opening lap. What a start that was from Bullet to take the lead into turn 1, but Softy and Bullet came close together. Bullet then went wide, and the Force India from behind, I don't know if it was onside or a bit of misbraking from himself, but smashed into the back of Bullet. Bullet lucky to get away without an incident, but Owen, with a great qualifying in P3, is now out of the race, as is his teammate, so a disaster for the Force Indias. Jack Pearson did not make it in time for the race, but wow, what a hectic start that was to the race. 19 more laps to come.
And I could tell you there was an incident between Goings and Bettman Sniper at the Portier. There was front wing damage to the McLaren, and then I think Lane might have been involved with Martin because he's got no front wing near enough, as all 3 of them come into the pit now, and I think Demon Ash might be joining as well. So the 4 up the back of the field have all come into the pits. And you know what? Oh no, that's just a little bitch, the pit lane bitch thing again for the 43 Goings there. Or is it? There we go. There we are. Yeah, there's a weird animation glitch there for some of the cars that come in the pit. They don't actually sit in the box, so it looks like they're actually not leaving the pit. But that's worked well for Demon Ash because he was last coming into the pit, so he's the first one back out. So he's up in 11th position, having pitted from 14th. Meanwhile, Softcup is absolutely pulling away. He's 2.5 seconds clear of Phil, who's had a very good start, managed to get through that chaos and take 2nd place. We've got Aiden in 3rd, Bullet down in 4th position ahead of Paul. Boffin Twedo, who's had a very good start again. And then it's James in 7th, ahead of Dan in 8th, Jamie Day in 9th, and Sir Lane in 10th. And then the 4 behind that forward, the pitted Demon Ash, going Smith J's and Bates.
Phil's pitting on lap 2. Is he? Yeah, it's Phil's pit already. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe he's got a drive-through penalty to serve. Maybe he jumped the start. Maybe he made contact with Owen. Let's follow that, see if you can see what's happening there, Johnny. But now Bullet is trying to get past Aiden. Is in the background. Bothywell looks to get past James as well. In fact, I think he has. Bothywell, sorry, now behind Paul ahead of James. But Phil making an early pit stop. I think, is that a tyre change or is that a drive-through, Johnny?
That was a tyre change, but the very interesting thing was after the tyres had fitted that Williams just didn't move. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if that was just a bit of animation that was missed again for the pit crew. Like, was there a front wing change perhaps? Very, very weird there for the Williams. It just, tyres changed and nothing happened. But I would say, normally, you're pitting that early, it's a strategy call, but now I'm not so sure.
For the second race, Aiden is between Softy and Bullet. This time the position's reserved as Bothwell gets very close to Paul. In fact, I think a little bit lag there from the game. Bothwell getting very close to that 4th position. Of course, a terrible track if you want to try and make easy overtakes. It's very hard to get past here. Bulletproof now stuck behind Aiden, who's nearly 4 seconds back from Softy. So Phil then, into clean air now. I'm not sure what that strategy was for. He was in P2, So I'm not sure if there's some sort of strategy behind that, or maybe he just felt he had to pit. Maybe did he have damage at all, Jonas, or was it just a tyre change?
I can't see any damage in the car, but he changed the tyres and it just didn't move for 5 seconds. But normally when you have a penalty, obviously you serve the penalty first, then work on the car. So I can't understand what happened there.
Well, Aiden's struggling here. This is really helping Softy. Sorry, what were you saying, Jonas?
I was just going to say, as it stands, if Softy wins this race, he's 2 points off the championship lead of VSR Josh. He would be on 76 points to VSR Josh's 78. And Bullet, who was on 61, will be on 76 as well. So the top three in the championship is separate by 2 points after today.
Ooh.
And actually, you know what? Aiden's at 60, he'd be tied first on 78. So the top four of the championship, as it stands, are separated by 2 points.
Wow. Please stay as it is. This is fantastic. The top four separate by 2 points as things stand. Softy leads now by 4.3 seconds. We're watching Jamie Day try and close on Dan the Man through the tunnel. Is getting very close. Unfortunately unable to pass at the moment, as Bullet continues also to get frustrated behind his fellow Scott and Aiden. But Phil still in clean air. Watch out for him a little later on, as Jamie almost sticks it in the wall. Not the place to do that. Dan the Man, normally when we follow him we do jinx him, so I hope by following the car behind as Jamie, maybe the jinx is for everyone I follow, because Jamie Day into the wall. Has he got damage? I'm not sure. Oh, and he has.
Oh, he has now.
Jamie Day is...
What happened there?
The lane goes through. Not sure what happened there. He comes into the pit lane. That was a bit of a weird accident there, but...
Was it frustration that just got the best of him there? That was a good start incident. I was just going to tell you, I just got on board with Bacon and he almost went straight into the wall at Raskas, and now he's got pushed around by Bullet, who's caught right up to the back of him. So, hell is breaking this, and Jamie Day is gone, so maybe that was a lag issue perhaps. Maybe he's just disconnected, so that's a disaster for him. He's bad luck from last season.
Oh, it's actually hit the wall. Also picking up a bit of front wing damage, which has allowed Goings now to get right on the back of the Mercedes driver. And with DRS, can he find a way through? It's very thin circuit this. He'll look to the left, he'll look to the right. Ash defends all parts of the track as Goings gets very frustrated. As Jamie Day's AR car comes out in the pit lane ahead of them. But this is the battle at the moment, and it is Goings versus Ash getting very frustrated. And oh!
He brake tested him! He brake tested... Oh my goodness.
Surely not.
I think Demon Ash has mistaken Jamie Day's car for a ghost perhaps, just hit the brakes to avoid it, and Goings has gone into the back of him. But I can tell you that was a ghost car, there was no need to brake, but he's gone straight into... He's gone to avoid the car that technically isn't there, and the Red Bull's gone into him.
Wow, well that's probably the freakiest accident I've ever seen in TGP, as Botha Dwella picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not what you want to be doing. It is his debut season.
Bullet is in as well.
Bullet is in with a front wing change as well, so this is crucial. If Aiden doesn't have to have a front wing change, he can just pit the next lap. Come back out straight ahead, because of course Bullet did. In fact, he's being held in the pit lane as well. I'm not sure what for there.
That is exactly what happened with Phil. That is exactly what happened with Phil.
So the Williams crew, obviously without a Lollipop Man this week.
Hold on. Am I correct in saying that the Williams garage is next to the Renault?
It is. Maybe Renault. Sitting there coming out holding
he's hit
up.
the wall at the pit exit. But it hit the wall at the pit exit. No, I was just going to say, Jack Pierce's disconnection, of course. It says that the Renault is in the pit lane, like it did for Jake's car for the last race. I'm wondering if the game's confused over that, and that's what's holding the Williams up at the pit exit.
Well, we see the Fries now 4th and 5th. The dizzy heights for Dan the Man. Can he get ahead of his teammate and back into the positions he used to be so often with back in the PS3 era? But knows that Phil Bargewell, 7 seconds clear of Bullet, who was probably held for about 7 seconds due to the front wing change and delay at the end. So Phil, therefore, should be right with Aiden if Aiden was to pit now. So watch out for that one when the front two make their pit stops. And James is the first Ferrari in, which elevates Dan the Man now into P4. Of course, he yet to pit, as have the top three. Paul now into 3rd behind his teammate.
Yeah, I can just tell you that the McLaren of Bettman Sniper has hit the wall on the hairpin and has got a bit of damage. He has continued as James has come to the pit, and Bullet has picked up a 3-second time penalty for penalties, as Demon Ash is now out of the Grand Prix, and he looks like he's hit the inside wall up the Nouvelle chicane and broken the suspension. Very easy to do that on this game, it has to be said, as another victim is claimed in Monaco, as Softy now comes to the scene of the accident. Damage locks up and goes into the McLaren at Mercedes.
Wow. Well, trying to catch my breath back from all that. Dan the Man into 4th, Paul 3rd, Aiden 2nd. Will we see the two Sabres make their first pit stop this time round? Smokey J's now into 11th position from the back of the grid, gaining from these DNFs here. Both Force Indias having a disaster, both Mercedes having a disaster, so it's not been a race for those two. The Mercedes team starting to struggle here. Bullet has picked up a 3-second time penalty over the corner cutting. So this is playing into Softy's hands even more. Looks set. I don't want to jinx it because twice before he's been leading here and lost out. It's a freak incident as Bullet picks up a second. 3-second time penalty. So that's what we're saying.
For sure.
It's now a sad one too as Softy pits, but Softy in the past was leading Monaco once, but his R2 button broke on his pad, which allowed Wingsman through to take his first win in Monaco. And then Softy now picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cut, and they're all doing it. They need
I think he cut the line. I think he cut the line with the exit in his desperation to beat Danaman out on track, which he has duly done. So I think Softy, maybe that was strategic. Well, I say strategically, you don't want to get a penalty, but obviously he must have done it with intent, because he knew if he just cut a little bit, just gained those few attempts to get ahead of Dan, it would be less than 3 seconds. He'd only lose 3 seconds for the penalty rather than losing 3 or 4 stuck behind a car that had yet to pit and would fight for position. So maybe that was a odd strategic call by him, but maybe it was the right decision in his mind to just get that clear out and just push on, which he has been doing so far this race. As it stands, he's 12 seconds clear of the next car that's pitted, which is Phil, as James now takes furthest. Bullet is off up Portier.
Bulletproof, the yellow flag's around once again in the wars. He's not going to repeat his victory from the Spanish Grand Prix. Not the race, and he's hit the wall, and he's lost both tyres. And he's another casualty to this race. As Aiden now pits for Sauber. Will this be a safety car? And if it is,
it's right on the racing line.
Aiden caught in the pit lane, could have gained from that, but the safety car not out yet. If safety comes out now, Paul could pit and get a free pit stop. Same for Jordan and Dan. Maybe they're both staying out, knowing that a safety car is what they need really to get themselves into this race. But wow, Bulletproof joins Ash, Goings, Martin and Owen, and I guess Jack too, as all DNFs from this Grand Prix. This is sensational.
I tell you, Aiden just came out right in front of Phil in what will be a net second, so he's just timed that to perfection. But he does have he's struggling to a Rossi reverser lane just in front now, so that's going to hold him up.
Wow, as Paul, I think, is now being overtaken by Softy. Maybe he's let him through there, probably not worth holding him up.
But meanwhile, the fight for ninth is happening just ahead of him. They've got Smokey Jays and Peter Sniper who've to 2 stop already. Just a few seconds up the road from the front too.
Oh, Aiden on Jordan. As Jordan locks up, Aiden thought about it but decided to wait better of it. Jordan is really holding him up here, and Jordan may not pit this lap. He's probably waiting for the safety car or VSC to come out, but already so many DNFs, surely would have seen it by now. Aiden getting frustrated, but he's got to keep his cool, got to wait for his moment. He is still in P2 in this race, and net P2, so he's got to just keep his focus. He'll hope that Tarasa pits this lap, which he won't. And Aiden, though, what a move to take the position from Jordan, and he goes through. I think Phil's gone through too. Jordan has actually pitted, so somehow was able to pull back into the pits there behind Phil and Aiden without holding them up. Down the man on Paul. So Paul's come out. Has he pitted yet? No. Porsche's lost a lot of time, and down the man now chasing Paul, who of course has won here in both TGP1 and TGP2. I think Paul's first win in TGP1 came at Monaco, but a track he says it's all about just getting to the end, just finishing. And at the moment he might be right, because with a lot of DNFs, he might be about to take a strong result thanks to others' faults. But down the man, here we go. Getting some good TV time here for Ferrari, ahead of his teammate for once. And now he'll look to make a move on Paul. Willie got the inside, Paul defends that one. Dan will try the outside, but surely there's no room. And look at this great racing from these two drivers. Paul and Dan showing good respect. They always show good respect, these two drivers, so it's good to see when this happens. And Dan the man, will he choose to pit this time round? Is it worth staying out? It's a good battle he's having with Paul, but is it worth staying out and losing time? As Paul all over the place on these tyres.
Yeah, I think he's lost all grip in the rears there. He might be coming in this lap. He completely sell the pills into the pits. Maybe 9 laps is pretty much the limit for those ultra softs. So that'll be interesting to see towards the end of the race, as quite a few guys are already on about 7 laps on the ultra softs. For, like Phil, for example, Dan spent 10 on the super soft, so it still seems to be okay. Softy's already 3 laps.
Watch out for Paul.
So he's ultra soft. As
Paul leaves the pit lane just behind James and Bothydwell. I was watching out for that. Bothydwell and James have come out ahead of Paul, crucially for them. Paul will have fresher tyres though. He is on the super soft now, and will look to close the gap down and get the positions back. Sorry, John, let's carry on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm thinking it's like 9 laps for the ultra softs, and then the best grip is gone and the time starts to slip away. So it'd be worth keeping an eye on Phil in the next few laps. I think he might be starting to struggle soon. He's had to remember he pitted very early. Aiden's off, and he's just held that car well there. He's just caught the inside wall at Portier. The car started to spin, but he managed to snap the car back the other way and just keep it pointing the right way. There is no damage to that Sauber. That was a very lucky escape by him there.
Oof, love the chopper cam here. Love the chopper cam. This is my favourite camera. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? These are the sort of overtakes. Sorry, these are the sort of cameras that make it into Joe Sayers highlights at the end of the season. Aiden now in third position. And he's 19 seconds back from Softy. That's quite incredible. Softy has this race in the bag. Dan the man in second, but yet to pit. 11 lap old super soft tyres there. But yeah, I think better than Sniper now looking for a move on Smokey J's in 9th position and 10th. Let's see if we can get through here. Again, it's very tricky to overtake, but Smokey J's, again, finished 3rd position in TGP2 a few seasons back. Didn't do last season, sat it out, but he's back now. As Better Than Sniper tries to find every way he can to get through, but he won't get through there. And Smokey J's really struggling on these tyres, you can see it. He goes at the inside, maybe a little cautious there from Smokey J's, maybe a little silly there from Sniper, but he's gone through. And he's taken 9. Let's keep an eye on this guy. I don't think Smokey J's is going to be too happy about that. And he goes up the inside. And they make contact.
Oh, that was clumsy.
Wow. Clumsy between the two drivers. Not smart. Is Sniper slowing down to let him through again? I don't think so.
Sniper also has a penalty for corner cutting. And I think his car's wrecked.
That's him through. He chose to let Smokey J's through, so he's apologetic there. He let the Toro driver through. Probably a clumsy move.
Toro also has a front wing just about, but that McLaren is definitely going to have to come in. Are they both coming in? They're going to hold up Dan the man now, and they just get out of the way in time. Dan the man not impeded at all there, just about, as he carries on in 2nd position. Meanwhile, I can tell you there's a very good scrap shaping up for 5th between James Bottom-Tweller and Paul McGuinness.
Look at
this.
The 3
of them all together.
Reminds me of Mansell and Senna from, was it 1992? James ahead of the 2 of them.
Yep.
The 3 of them now separated by less than a second. Paul, Bothidwell and James in 3 different teams, giving us a great battle for 5th position. The top 4 look to be safe in their position. Sorry, Dan the man yet to pit, but apart from that, they look to be safe. This is the battle we need to watch. James, Bothidweller and Paul. Where can they make their moments? Where's the best chance to take the pass, John? Is it going to be into turn 1? Or into the chicane?
Some people might be quite brave and try on the inside of Mirabeau here, but they're not close enough there. It's Bothidweller's in the wall. He's actually hit the wall there. I think he's broke his win. But he's broken part of it. I don't think it's going to be... Well, it's going to be a bit serious because it's Monaco.
Well, he's clearly got damage. He's clearly in the way here of Paul now. Paul will look to get through. Probably not on the tunnel though. Not the best way to get through. Are we going to see a safety car? We got full course yellow. It's now been cleared. As Paul will look to go on that side here. But Bothidweller, who we expect probably will pit this lap if he has got that damage. He cannot stay out for the remaining 6 laps. With damage like that, it's a huge risk you don't want to be taking in Monaco, or you're going to be in the walls, and without some points, as there, once again, into the wall, Johners.
Yeah, that Haas is definitely struggling. I can tell you, Better Than Sniper has retired from the race, and Smokey Jones has spun up the hairpin and got damage again, so, oh, a little bit of contact between the Sauber and the thing there. Smokey Jones is now out the race as well, so we're down to...
Dropping like
8
flies.
drivers, really.
Wow, we're down.
To 8. It's a bit like the 96 Monaco Grand Prix here.
It is.
Just cars dropping left, right and centre, and that was, quite funnily enough, something I was reading up on this morning, because it is the race in the least finishes in F1 history, just 3 crossing the finish line, because the Bothidweller is just trying everything to hold up Paul. Paul just not taking the risk. He'd rather sit back and keep the car clean and lose the damage, but that has allowed James to get away in 5th. Meanwhile, Dan is still there in 2nd place. You know what, if he pits now, he might just sneak 4th position on the exit ahead of his teammate, as Bulletproof leaves the session and had one unfortunate retirement, a couple of penalties early in the race, as he continue on with the fight for 6th. And Paul just not really having a look, he's just waiting for the Bothidweller to make a mistake that lets him free cleanly.
Watch the lane as well in the background, the Toro driver catching up on the 2 of them. Paul getting clearly frustrated here, but he's taking his time. He's a cautious driver, Paul. I don't want to jinx it, but he's going to wait for his move, wait for the right opportunity. You can clearly see the Haas driver struggling here, the sole Haas driver. And this is like Senna and Mansell. Look at this. Is he going to pit this time round? He chooses not to. Dan the man's pitted. Where will he come out? Will he come out ahead of these 3?
He's come out just ahead of James. He's come out ahead of his teammate. He's done it. He's 4th.
Wow, Dan the man in P4 ahead of his teammates. We continue to watch this battle with Paul and Bothidweller. This is fantastic. Keep it clean, boys. Paul clearly frustrated here. Senna and Mansell style, as we said. Can Paul get a move here? This will be fantastic. Surely not. What a move from Paul. Is that going to be enough? Will Bothidweller come back at him?
He does indeed.
Wow, this is fantastic. Racing in Monaco. We've not seen this before. in anywhere really in real Formula 1, but Paul defying what is possible around this circuit. He's putting overtakes in places you wouldn't expect to see them, but down the mountain, what a job to come out in 4th position ahead of his teammate. A fantastic strategy, but Boffy Dweller, as you can see on your time screens, less than 1/10 of a second behind. And look at this, James then in 5th position now. Will he drop back from his teammate? 8 lap order tyres. And where's Paul going to get that move done? Still 4 laps to go in this race.
I dare say a possible podium for Dan the Man, because Phil is struggling on his tyres.
He is, isn't he? That's a good shout. Dan the Man is Boffy Dweller again all over the place. Can Paul get a move this time? He'll save his DRS and hers. Boffy Dweller again chooses not to pit Paul. Now look at this. He's going for the faster exit. He'll try the outside because Boffy Dweller will no doubt defend the inside. But he's just not close enough. Can't get close enough. The DRS is not helping enough. And Paul still stuck in 7th position. The Haas driver is a roadblock.
Paul is literally driving both these cars around the track right now. That's how close to the back of the car in front of me is. As he has another look. He doesn't quite go for it again. As Soleil is just having a front row view to this. This is some incredible stuff, it has to be said. Paul not risking any serious damage, but he needs to make a move at some point. Boffy Dweller, I think, does have a time penalty for pit stop as well, and I think he's sped into the pits, so maybe that's paying on Paul's mind, but who knows, he doesn't have to make the move to get the place at the end. But any hope of getting James is possibly gone now, as I tell you what, Dan is within 2 seconds of Phil Bardwell already.
Dan the Man returning to his former PS3 self. I don't want to go to him just yet because this is the battle to follow. Boffy Dweller still narrowly holding on to 6th position as Paul tries outside and hits the wall himself. Is that going to give him some damage?
It's got damage. There is front wing damage to that car. He's going to have to go for it now. As Boffy Dweller is just parking the bus. This is some incredible stuff here. Paul must be furious with what's happening in front of him. He can't do anything to avoid it. And you know what? Dan the Man has caught Phil Bardwell for 3rd.
Well, again, we're going to stick with this for now. Dan the Man right on Phil, but it's 6th and 7th. Paul on Boffy Dweller. Can he make a move? He needs to get through soon. 3 laps to go. Softy continues to lead by 25 seconds. And Paul Mitchie up the inside this time. Boffy Dweller comes back at him again. And watch out for Jordan, who goes up the inside of Paul. The 3 of them are so close. And Paul's going to be frustrated if Jordan then goes up the inside of him, which I don't think he has done. This is fantastic. Paul, for now, somehow, still in 7th position behind Boffy Dweller.
Inside of Phil. Oh, they've made contact. Dan
it's all happening. Dan on Phil for the final podium place. Dan yielded there.
After the contact.
This is brilliant.
Like that.
Phil really struggling. 1 remaining Williams driver in this race. Paul still behind Boffy Dweller, but for now we'll switch our attentions to this. While they continue to scrap it out, let's see if Dan can get ahead of Phil, who is on the same tyres, I believe, both on the Ultra Soft tyres, or is it the Hyper Soft?
It's ultra soft for both, but Dan's 12 laps newer. He has a look into turn 1, but decides against it. He's got to go around the outside of Santa Fe. Oh my goodness me! What a move!
If he makes this stick, if he makes this stick, oh my God! Hold your breath, Phil Bardwell.
Oh,
wow!
What a brilliant defensive piece of driving by Phil.
And Boffy Dweller has pitted.
Went around the outside, but Phil just held the position. He just held firm, got the power down on the exit.
Oh, the inside of the hairpin, surely not. Dan the Man on Phil Bardwell. Jamie Day's AI car is in the way, and Phil and Dan are going side by side. This is fantastic. The 2 great drivers of TGP both call themselves legends. A pin of wheel contact now, surely not in the tunnel. We've seen overtakes in the tunnel before, but surely not again. It's very rare that you can come out of the tunnel unscathed. They've both done it. They chose not to go side by side. Maybe Dan thinking better of that one. But Dan clearly getting frustrated. He can see that podium, he can sense it, and he knows he has a fantastic chance of doing it. There's only a lap and a half to go. Softy already on his final lap, already halfway around the final lap. He's that far ahead. This will be the most dominant win I think we've ever seen in TGP. He's 32 seconds clear. I don't think we've ever seen that kind of a gap. That's fantastic from Softy, but we must stick with his.
It's absolutely massive, but I will tell you, it's the second to last lap. Just a little bit hasty there.
Oh, sorry, sit down, Dom, sit down.
Don't do a crofty on us now, as Dan has a look on the outside. He's going to go for it again.
What a move from Dan the Man. No swearing this time, John, as Dan the Man through into P3. What a move, and now can James hunt down Phil in 4th, but wow, look at that. Soleil and on Paul will be the next battle to follow. As Soleil goes wide into turn 1, locks up a little bit. Bothidwell did finally make a pit stop, so the front wing got too much for him, or he just picked up a bit more damage when we were looking at Phil and Dan. But Dan the man, with possibly a move of the race, to take a brave overtake around the outside of Phil into turn 1 and take that podium position. He has to get to the end now. Softy, keep an eye out on Jonas. Let me know when he's at the final corner, because he is now on his final lap and will win the Monaco Grand Prix, touch wood, as things stand, and put the championship lead down to 2 points. Aiden's currently in second, Dan the man in third, Phil 4th, James 5th, Paul 6th, Solani 7th, and Bothidwell 8th.
There is something I've noticed with Dan. I think he is right on the cusp of the fuel. I can tell you, I can see the flashing light on the telemetry coming up. So he's got to be careful that fuel on the last lap, or it could all be lost. It's something he's done before. Meanwhile, Paul just seems to be holding on against Elaine. I think Elaine doesn't have any serious damage compared to the Sauber, but I think he might just be struggling for tyres a little bit.
Well, Jamie Day's car is going to get 9th position.
Meanwhile, now with Softcop, he's dominated this race. He's 35 seconds clear. Comes to Raskas now, locking up away hard as he gets through Antonino's out of the last corner. The streets of Monaco have been kind to Softy, and he takes one of the most dominant wins I've seen in a long time in this league. It's a win in Monaco yet again for the Softcop. 35 seconds clear of Aiden, who's only just got into the Newcastle chicane. A superb win. Meanwhile, Dan is halfway through the last lap in third. Phil is fallen completely off the bubble now, but James will not catch him, and fight for silk continues. Boffy Jodo's crossed the line in 8th. Jamie Day will take 9th courtesy of his AI card, trundling it around. As Aiden now has the last corner, he will bring that Sauber home for another 2nd position. He'll be happy with that. He'll probably be disappointed to be so far off the win, but he will take it. As Dan the man out into the last corner.
Dan's going to take P3 then.
Crosses the line and takes a superb podium. He will be delighted with that, as Phil comes home 4th. 5th place for James O'Connor in the 2nd Ferrari. He will be fairly satisfied with that. I think he'll be a bit disappointed to be beaten by his teammate, as Paul comes out the last corner. Toro Rosso Sir Lane right behind him, but Paul will take P6, and it's 7th for Sir Lane, and that is the end of a crazy Monaco Grand Prix.
Wow, what a race. It had it all, didn't it? We've seen one of the most dominant wins, we've seen one of the most fantastic races, one of the most bravest overtakes of the season. And it's Softy, who is on the top step of the podium, responding well to Josh not being here tonight. And once again, Aiden picking up another 2nd position. That Sauber, watch out for him. Both drivers and instructors, they are marching up those championship standings. But what a race, Johners. Wow, pick out a key moment in that one.
It has to be the fight for... well, the 2 fights really, the fight between Buffy Dweller, Paul and Selene, as well as the fight for the final podium spot the last few laps. The Softy has absolutely sent a message home to the rest of the field. He is back at his best. A dominant win, a win I've not seen in this league for a long time. Even with the penalty, he was still over half a minute clear of the rest of the field. The decision to just sneak ahead of Dan on the exit of the pit lane might have been a bit naughty. It did get him a penalty, but yes, he will feel absolutely delighted with the victory, and he will be absolutely I can't think of the word for it, but in his mind he knows he made the right call to make that move, to stay ahead of Dan on the exit of the pit and just keep that clear track and keep him completely focused. So a brilliant win for Softy ahead of Bartdude, Dan the man 3rd ahead of Phil, James, Paul, Selene, Buffy Dweller and Jamie Day bring up the rest of the field.
Wow, well, what a race. The championship standings are now completely very close between Softy, Aiden, Bullet and Josh, I believe. But what a night in TGP1. It's the 3rd week of the season, and already we're seeing some fantastic races. And next week we're back on October the 23rd for Canada and France. So thank you for joining and watching our coverage. It's been a fantastic night in TGP1, and we'll see you all again next time at Canada and France.